unscripted.
Hey there everybody, what's going on? This is Crapgamer and this is Crapgamer Reviews, back with another review. Yes, that's right, I'm doing a review. It's crazy and I love doing reviews, and it's time that I get back to doing the things that I love to do. That keeps me invigorated on the channel and things like that. So if you guys are new to the channel, I kind of give my own personal opinions and thoughts on video games and things like that. Again, it's crappy reviews. I wouldn't expect like some huge level of professionalism or anything like that. I play these games and then I give my opinion on them, and you guys can kind of sort out the rest for yourself. But you know, I do appreciate everybody coming out here, and if you would please be so kind as to leave a like, a share, and maybe even subscribe if you haven't done so already, much appreciated. I plan on doing some more reviews and things like that. I really enjoy that aspect of YouTube, and I know that they're not super popular or anything like that, and that's fine. You know, I'm just out here trying to have a good time. Maybe some people will find my reviews helpful, and that's all you can ask for at the end of the day. But I want to get started, shall we? What's up, everybody? We are back with reviews on Crapgamer Reviews, long requested, and I can't wait to get into this. So I wanted to review a game that I felt like maybe wasn't getting a lot of play, a lot of reviews, and I did happen to get a copy to actually review the game. So I wanted to go ahead and say, you know, I fired up the Falconeer on my Xbox Series X. That's right, completely optimized for the Xbox Series X. It's in Ultra 4K HD. It has 120 frames per second, smart delivery, all that kind of great stuff. So this game is actually available on PC, Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox Series S, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X. I know it's a lot, but you know, this is a very interesting game. And at first you might go, well, you know, this is another typical low-rated Xbox game, and it's going to launch that way, and it really just goes to showcase the lack of games and stuff like that. The way I look at it is, I think that this game in particular and some other games probably get put in the spotlight a little bit too harshly due to the fact that Microsoft doesn't really have a lot of games that, like, their first party is pretty much stagnant. So when you have like a quote-unquote console exclusive, at least for right now, in a game like this, a small kind of indie AA type title, people kind of maybe focus a little bit too much attention on it, and I think that's probably wrong to do. If you do just kind of sit back and relax and kind of just play this game, it has a lot of unique stuff to it. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. It's definitely not perfect, but it is a game that has some playability and some level of fun to it, especially if you're the right type of person who likes aerial combat, like open world games. And I think that that's going to play a long way into who's going to actually enjoy this game, because there is obviously like a people that enjoy stuff like Panzer Dragoon and stuff like that. I'm not comparing directly to that, but it's sort of like that if you're looking for something that's kind of similar, but like the ability to sort of go open world and kind of do what you want to do. I find that to be pretty fascinating, and I find that also to be something that was really interesting as well. So first of all, I want to talk about the graphics. Now, again, these aren't photorealistic graphics, but I do enjoy the color palette, and I do think that graphically speaking, these are some really nice choices in terms of the graphical choices that they made. So I have to really say that they kind of went out, even though it's not that killer app or that, like I said, that realism that a lot of people are looking for in an Xbox game, especially a launch game, because I think a lot of people are looking for that launch title that can show off what you can do. And again, the 120 frames is pretty cool that you could be able to kind of pull that off with the console, and it looks good. Like, again, like I would compare the graphics to be some that probably won't, you know, that they'll age very well. And, you know, just from the art style and things like that, I really love sort of the art style that they have going on here. And again, not everything has to be realistic. I have to point that out, even though I'm a bit critical on Microsoft, because a lot of times they don't have that realism that's needed. I feel like it's okay to have games that aren't realistic, but you have to have some that are, and I think that's where Microsoft runs into a little bit of a problem with the game. But I do overall think that this is really something of an imaginative launch game. You know, it is something that you can have fun with if you're the right type of person. So again, this isn't like a huge blockbuster AAA exclusive or anything like that. In fact, it's something that was created by just one person, and it actually makes it the single creator of a game is really probably a bit of an even more refined experience than Bright Memory, which is also created by a single person. And I have to say, I've played Bright Memory on Xbox Series X as well, and that's just a little snippet, like a little 45-minute to an hour long quote-unquote game. It's really sort of a demo to a game, and I ran into many problems on that as opposed to the Falconeer, which was much easier to get along. But I will say that in terms of the Falconeer and what it does well is if you learn the game, you can have fun with it. The problem is there is a bit of a learning curve. I kind of want to point that out as well, that there is a bit of a learning curve when it comes to this game, and you can't take that for granted. So it's got impressive graphics for the art style. Now, I'm not trying to say that these are great graphics or all of a sudden I love these type of graphics, but and I also did get to play this after there was a significant patch to it as well. So it's an open world sort of aerial combat game, and you're flying around on a planet, and you have these birds that are sort of they have these powered weapons, and I really thought that they did a good job with that, the weapons and stuff like that. You feel really cool. I like the way that they sort of let you have this sort of feel that you're kind of a badass. It really starts off a little bit slow though. Like, it starts you off in like a weird sort of tutorial that you just kind of learn sort of how to move around and how to do different things in the game, and I felt that was very cool, the way that they allowed people to do that. And at the end of the day, I thought that was really fun, just being able to kind of just chill around and kind of do that. I didn't want to give away too much of the game itself, so what I recorded was from the first I think about 35 minutes of gameplay, just because I didn't want to sort of have that situation where it was giving away like different scenarios of the game itself. So yeah, I think that the game itself did a really good job at sort of having you figure out how to do things, but like I said, there is that learning curve that you're going to have to put up with as well. The combat, it does take some time to actually master it and really kind of get used to it. The aerial combat itself is fine, but it's like the targeting system can be a little bit of a tricky situation, the being evasive and things like that as well. You can also thankfully put the difficulty levels down a little bit, and again, it's one of those things where this game starts off a little rough, and so I can imagine that a lot of people maybe wouldn't stick around for the entire thing. But anyway, at the end of the day, the mission setup is really well done, and the missions themselves are a lot of fun. They can be fun, but you have to want to stick around and sort of be into that mood and that mindset to be able to go out there and really kind of want to do these type of games. Like, it's not for everybody, so I'm really kind of the first person to say that. Basically, it's a game that's hard with the learning curve, but it is kind of fun and can be a little bit imaginative. You have your imagination. The graphics are really good. I don't sleep on the graphics. I know like YouTube compresses stuff, but it's a really colorful palette and things like that. I think the control system's okay. It probably needs a little bit of work. It wasn't perfect by any means, but overall, I think that this is a fun game, and but you have to stick it through that beginning part. I think if they would have did a little bit better job at making the start of the game better and more accessible, that it would have been this game would probably be a little bit better well received. But the fact that it does take a while to get used to, and most people, I'm just going to be honest here, most people probably aren't going to give it the time of day due to the fact of the initial difficulty set forth. So yeah, definitely take that into consideration. Just give it a chance and try your best to really go out there and see what you can do, because I can tell you it's worth it. You can have a decent to a good experience with this game if you go out there and you do it that way. So I just kind of wanted to remind everybody, and at the end of the day, this is a game made by one person. So keep that in mind. I think that, you know, again, this is something that a lot of people are going to probably be talking about, or, you know, I haven't seen a lot of reviews for it, so I figured why not go ahead and do a review. But yeah, this is something that I think is worth trying if you have an Xbox Series X. Even if you don't, you know, just give it a try. If you like aerial combat games, you can't really go wrong. It's not the best game in the world by any means, but it's certainly not the worst. It's something that, you know, I think that Microsoft definitely used to their advantage. Unfortunately, not everybody is into aerial combat games, so it's kind of a niche product. But with that being said, if I had to rate this game out of 10, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. You know, it's pretty decent if you stick it out a little bit. You know, I would say stick it out, get past the initial part of it, and I think you'll do well. So with that being said, thank you so much for sticking around for one of my reviews. Have a fantastic day. Rack 'em up and game on. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.